as effective. And it makes you wonder, in teams like these guys and the Outlaws, and then, you know, top teams with predominant Korean presence.
But if you're the Philadelphia Fusion, you can come into the game against the Outlaws, right? You could run a team out there, you know, with Neptuno in it, that you feel really confident, well practiced in, right? And you can get a win against Houston. And then you come in here against Philly. You want Dayfly eventually to be that Mercy that's always in the lineup. You can play him here against London. You still have a one-on-one week, right? One-on-one still pretty good. You get a good win over Houston. You play London pretty tough on a lot of these maps. You get Dayfly some play at the top competition. I think that's, you know, kind of a win overall for everybody. Something interesting, I was looking at the stats. You know, we see Birdring here on offense. You know, playing the 76 at the beginning could potentially change. The last map we saw him doing a lot of work on Widow. It's only like a 44% scoped accuracy, which we've seen in some of the graphics, like a lot higher numbers, but it's 38% critical hit. So it tells you he's just landing a lot of headshots.
Right, I have to say that that's 38% of 44. So I mean, it's a couple percentages there. It's you know, not necessarily just 38% in general, but something to bear in mind. The guy was really making some big kills happen. This is really interesting though. Doomfist for Carpe here on defense. So again, maybe hoping that the Spitfire are going to push into main as a unit, but Carpe can get across these platforms pretty easily, can pin someone up against the wall pretty comfortably.
I think where Doomfist can excel on this map is that when they try and go over towards that mega health pack underneath, or they try and push main, or even up here on the high ground on the right-hand side, that's really where Doomfist can cause a lot of damage. But you see charging up the rocket punch, going to get a D-mech there on a Fury. The tough part will be, right, when you have those heroes at range, like a 76, able to take them out. Or if they go over towards the high ground where Boombox is here, not an opportunity to get those one-shot kills. He'll get the nano boost here on a Shadowburn, as he's going to earn himself a blade. He's going to jump up top. He'll take out Birdring.
Yeah, I mean, Shadowburn there gets the nano boost slightly before he had the Dragon Blade. Boombox had to give off something before he left, so it's fair enough. It has held up the Spitfire for now, though. You notice that Shadowburn is still relatively in good shape, gets rid of the enemy 76. This Primal Rage is pretty much after the fact. You can see the Jester just jumps out. He realizes that this push is coming down.
No, but they're going to have everybody on full strength here, so they actually kill Dayfly. Now everybody except for Prophet is in this mid-street. You see Prophet on the point there, just they're darting behind enemy lines. They do, yeah, the Transcendence comes out from London because they know Dayfly not in the equation here for Philadelphia, just comes off spawn.
Shadowburn, yeah, Dyson with death there. There was a Bionic Field placed down, and it's going to be tough to burst Birdring through it. He's almost got his tack visor. The Fusion have been essentially pushed off the points. Remember, last game I talked about no respect. This is a lot of respect coming from the Philly team here, really just stepping off the point. They realize the fight's lost. They also realize they can't get back, but they're going to give the Spitfire a lot of room to set up for this second stage push. Boombox switches now over towards Zenyatta for stage 2. Obviously, keeping Ana for that doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense.
That was such a sick play from Gesture. He was able to use the Primal Rage, kill Dayfly, and then a lot of times, you know, they'll stay on the point a little bit longer. You know those Winstons with Primal Rage will die. He actually opts to go back out towards that mid-street bus, gets healed up. You still have Prophet there to bring the players for Philly onto the point, because he's...
There was a miscommunication at the start of the fight, though. I think Fraggy thought that he and Shadowburn were going to chase more kills. Fraggy got picked off while Shadowburn backed away. There was already a 6v5 situation in that fight, so... And Shadowburn had already used his Dragon Blade. They didn't have a lot of ultimates, especially after Boombox had used his, so... Yeah, perhaps a miscommunication.
They didn't have the nano to even like put on a Fraggy, potentially keep him alive a little bit.
He was on his own, so he's just going to get bursted down. He's playing up against Zenyatta and those things, so it's going to be tough. Gesture falls though, speaking of Zenyatta's, Boombox opens this fight up very, very well. Primal Rage for Fraggy doesn't net him a kill, but does force Birdring into the backline, reducing his effectiveness in terms of damaging more important targets. Now the tactical visor comes in though. Who's going to block this one? It looks like for the most part, Poco has absorbed some of the damage there. Korean Future Dyson has been cutting down the effectiveness of this tac visor, but Fraggy still gets picked off somehow in amongst the defense matrix. Prophet on the Boombox, and despite Birdring falling late in the fight, this Transcendence is very interesting. Perhaps it was forced out from Bedosin, but I think it was essentially a 5v1 situation for the Spitfire. They still have to go for it. They probably want the Transcendence actually for the last fight of this stage and not there.
Yeah, because now you have Shadowburn with the Dragon Blade on the other side, Poco with a self-destruct. You could use it to get onto the cart here, maybe stall it. They can make it back before London can take point B. And there you see Fraggy jump right onto the cart. That was very close though, but Bedosin takes out Carpe. Birdring switches over from 76 to Genji. Dashes on through 2 members of Philly. London putting on a clinic here.
Unfortunate for Philadelphia, the timing just wasn't quite in their favor. You saw that Frankie barely got onto the payload there. No one else from that team was actually going to get there besides him. So it would have been one man against the wall anyway. And the Spitfire, 4 minutes, Matt, on the clock. Got some momentum here. The Fusion have ultimates, though.
You can see where it benefits having hero overlap between your DPS players, because instead of having Prophet, have to give up his, percentage towards that pulse bomb and have him go over to Genji and Birdring switch over to Tracer. You can have Birdring run the Genji as well, as I don't know how Poco's getting.
How does he do this?
Here,
we saw a stat before, by the way. He has way more kills per ultimate, I think, than anyone else so far. So that's impressive. He picks up that one kill, but Nuts is going to be able to res it up here. What's Carpe trying to make happen? Oh, it's tough. The Shurikens catch him out. Philadelphia looked very much spread thinly. Boombox is going to get cut down, despite the fact that he was being healed by Dayfly, no less. That's going to be very, very frustrating. Even your backline has no support. They have no defense there. Diffusion nowhere to be seen. Not sure what the go is right now. They're in tatters, they're in disarray. And the Spitfire are more than happy to line them up and knock them down.
That was quick. That was pretty quick.
Yeah, time-wise,
scary.
Look, Numbani is one of the longest maps by distance and payload travel. And that really looked very, very commanding here from the Spitfire. I mean, first point hold was okay, Matt, I think, but after that, they never got back into the game.
Yeah, I think, Philly's best, defensive stand was on that first point. Going in from point A to point B, there was that one fight. Carpe actually uses his tac visor, and then, I think Birdring just holds on to his a little bit longer. They don't have any support ults for the side of Philly, and then he comes around the corner by the bus, and they're able to take him out. And then I think they actually caught them off guard by, as soon as Birdring uses the tac visor, he switches off the Genji. They dive in to try and actually contest it, and it's just so much damage from Birdring and Prophet right there with the discords on the Fraggy that they're not even able to contest it, right? Fraggy just dives on in. I feel like it just ended with him. I think Carpe falls there as well, so they send in the Winston and the Tracer to contest. They don't stay alive long enough.
It's clear to see that the dive needs a little bit of work here on the side of the Philadelphia Fusion. At least all the pieces of the puzzle aren't there when they need to be. And again, dive is a fragile approach to the game. If one of your elements isn't working, then the whole thing's not going to work.
And Philly, look, they didn't have the benefits of being here for the preseason, right? They've been practicing at home, scrimming, so there's a lot of positive things with Philly that you've seen thus far. And then the little minor things they can definitely tweak over the next week or so. They can definitely be a very strong team, because you already see the talent on this lineup.
Plenty of it, Matt. Talent in spades, but Spitfire doesn't really care about talent. They don't really care about Twitter followers either.
They have some talent of their own.
No doubt about it. 2 rosters worth, in fact. So Fury and us out early. Again, a bit of information to be gained here if there's anything that needs to be changed, especially if the Spitfire bring the Ana in, perhaps they might need to change tack. But it'll be Fraggy on the Winston. Let's scrutinize this Philadelphia Fusion dive, Matt. Let's see if they can get the elements that they require in the right timing.
They're going to try and challenge this high ground. Fraggy's going to try and get the 76 off. He gets booped down, so Fraggy now get full spot yet. Poco actually get up top, and he actually takes out Gesture and trying to make it out of harm's way. Prophet chases him down. He'll be able to get Fraggy out of the fight. Shadowburn, though, doing some damage here, still working with Poco.
Okay, so perhaps the Fusion are trying to take advantage of some organized chaos to a degree here, but they haven't managed to capture the point there. It doesn't start great, I suppose. Losing Dayfly so early in the fight wasn't good. You saw Fraggy try to run back to the safety of Boombox, but even Boombox wasn't able to heal him quickly enough before he got picked off.
The benefits for the Philly Fusion with that push is that they did force London Spitfire to spread out probably a little bit more than they would have liked, right? You had Prophet had to work all the way over towards that mega health pack. You had Birdring have to back up. You had to have one player on the point for London. So you did force them to split up a little bit. Don't expect that to happen yet again, though. We'll see the dive come in here from the Philly Fusion yet again.
Nope, that's not a great start either. There's a Boombox. Okay, so if you're playing a dive composition and the first 2 people to die are Boombox and Carpe, probably not the best start. You've lost your Zen so early on into the piece. At this stage, the Philadelphia Fusion probably have to content themselves with building up some ultimates and trying just to brute force into this first point. This can be one of the hardest parts of this map to take, no doubt about it.
Yeah, Prophet hits a pulse bomb on a Poco that desmechs him. So Poco jumps off the side instead of going back, switching off of D.Va, then back to D.Va, because he's already 91% to a self-destruct, so he wants to jump off the side, get that mech back.
I want to see the first kill of the fight go to the Fusion here. Theoretically, it shouldn't be that hard if they can dive onto the squishy target, but they're looking for it. You see Shadowburn looks up at the balcony, goes, where's the Ana? I can't see the 76 either. The Spitfire is staying hidden for the most part. It's impossible for the Fusion to get information. And now the Spitfire spring forth and have a dive of their own. They take the Fusion by surprise. Again, they get a pick in that fight, but it's actually Gesture to go down first. With Boombox up, it's a man advantage for the Fusion now as they press forward. Shadowburn's going to drag a blade here, but that tac visor could be pretty rough over the top. Vidosin down to Fraggy. Shadowburn waiting for his opportunity to go in there.
It's a tremendous play by Nuss on the Mercy. He actually pops his Valkyrie and somehow is able to make it all the way down that main street and get Gesture back up, and then work all the way back to get Vidocin. So fantastic Mercy play there by Nuss, able to get those reses pretty safely. Birdring pops Attack Visor, help put that fight away. Now it'll be Philly Fusion with some time draining off the clock here. They'll have about a minute to work with. Some ultimates here online for the Spitfire, though.
The Fusion know exactly what they want to do, and they actually know half of how they want to do it. But the Spitfire aren't standing in your classic Mickey Mouse positions, right? They're not standing up on the balcony with an Ana and a 76 together. They're staying hidden until the last moment when they want to show themselves.
So actually, you can see where Birdring is from Poco's POV. He's actually up top in that left. They are trying to get the 76 down from the high ground, but Birdring is just kind of hiding and lurking, and then coming out once the fight starts, and that just changes where Philly decides to go at that point.
See, no picks yet for the Fusion. This is where it gets dangerous for a dive comp. It forces them to use the Transcendence, which does very little because Snakefire still drops despite that. Shadowburn's forced to back away. It's evident that he used his Dragon Blade in that fight. You have used 3 ultimates in this fight. None of those ultimates have gotten you any kills.
And the entire time, Fraggy is primal raged up top, trying to knock Birdring back, getting him out of the equation. And then Birdring just runs away, loops all the way back around to his supports back by the spawn. It's just been tremendous placement of players, map positioning here from the London Spitfire.
Right. It's checkers from the Fusion, it's 4D underwater, upside down, inside out, chess from the Spitfire. Definitely ahead of the game right now, making it impossible for the Fusion to get the engagement they want. Self-destruct here for Poco, everyone's just going to sit around the bonfire and sing Kumbaya. And now it's time for the Spitfire to go back in. Birdring for the high ground, has his tactical visor here. This might be a bit tough. Forced away though. A lot of healing from Nuss, and again, Poco getting chunked down. The defense matrix no longer going to be a factor. The Philadelphia Fusion are going to fizzle out. There's not much to be said about this one. Dayfly desperately trying to bring a couple players back, but he's forced into the middle of the fight. It's a no-go for him, a non-starter. And for the Fusion, it's a failure to launch. The Spitfire are out there doing aerial acrobatics.
The positioning from the London Spitfire on defense there was amazing. Time and time again, they just changed up the positioning of where they were playing Birdring on the Soldier 76, and that didn't allow the Philadelphia Fusion to get a good read on where he was on the high.